Yo, what's going on, man? Top of the morning to the gambling gang, as I always like to say. Today's November 29th. This is Cashed It with Chris, the NBA betting show / podcast. And as always, we got a lot to talk about, man. Quick recap from last night. We had 4 plays. It was looking promising, like we was gonna go 3-1. And Devin Booker said, nah, no, you're not. You're not, man. So we actually ended up losing the last play, but we were official on the Brooklyn Nets. Let's talk about the bad first. We're official on the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic over the 223. That game went under. Orlando did come out, play as much defense as they could have. I honestly, when I took it, I thought that a couple of those guys for Orlando was going to be able to get ruled in. And I still like the play if they do get ruled in, but Wendell Carter Jr. didn't play. Jalen Suggs also was ruled out. So yeah, Orlando extremely shorthanded. It's probably got something to do with the tanking as well. They're not, trying to make the playoffs or anything. But I thought, second night of a back-to-back, after scoring 99 points, that they'd come out with something. And they did get over the 99 points, but extremely shorthanded. I mean, it was literally like Bol out there and Bunchero, like a bunch of those guys off the bench. Probably not NBA players right now. So loss on the total. And then the other loss last night, of course, came with the Kings in the Bet US play, which I was really trying to keep that streak going, man. We had won, I think, 4 in a row. So time to start a new one. The Devin Booker looked poised last night, like he was gonna go for 70 last night. Dude was shooting the ball, felt like every single time down the floor. Him and Aiden, you could tell that they really got up for the game. And King still got some things to clean up. Kings definitely still got some things to clean up, specifically on the defensive end. Transition defense was non-existent, just kind of letting Devin Booker and the boys get whatever they wanted. They did a good job of containing campaign, but Devin Booker just absolutely went crazy last night. He looked like there was the playoffs. And we saw, Malik Monk tried to, keep a minute. He had 30. De'Aaron Fox didn't have the greatest game. Didn't get to 20, but it is what it is, man. Then of course, the 2 wins, I gave out Trey Murphy over 14.5 points as soon as Brandon Ingram was ruled out. Talked about, taking him up to 20. That cashed. And also the Toronto money line. As soon as Jared Allen got ruled out, no Kevin Love. That's too much offense and too much defense to take away from that Cleveland Cavaliers team on the second night of a back-to-back with travel from Detroit to Toronto. So felt confident in that play, hopped on them when the money line was minus 120. 126, I think. So 2-2 overall, not the greatest day, man. Always trying to go, whatever it is, and 4-0, 5-0, 2-0, 8-0. But today's another day, man. We bounce back. Let me see what y'all on in the comment section. It's probably gonna be a shorter show today, too, man, just because it's only 3 games, but I do got some stuff I want to share with you guys. KC, good morning to you. What up, JR Sports? Free Minds, what it do, my brother? LJ, what's going on, my guy? Good night for LJ last night. 4-2 on the props. 4-2 last night. 3-1 on the props. Okay, LJ. I know you gave out some bangers for sure. First time catching the show live. Love everything I'm hearing. Appreciate you, Vincent. Y'all hit that like button for me. If you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, and if you're on Twitter, consider retweeting the show as well, man. We trying to get some cash, man. We trying to get some cash. Know something said I'm on a heater, Chris. Took your Trey Murphy and a 3-leg cash. Okay, I took Toronto with Siakam 18 points. Woo, that's a scary one. Siakam coming back, first game back. Maybe it wasn't that scary for you, though. Know something. Appreciate it. And I'm glad you cashed, bro. Plus 846 odds. I love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. All right, let's get into today, man. Like I said, probably a shorter show. Still waiting on some injury news, as we always are. We always kind of waiting on injury news when it comes to these NBA games, especially the early ones. So, boom, let's get into it, man. So, Knicks and the Pistons. I'll give you guys the red flags early in this one, kind of cap what we got. Emmanuel quickly is considered questionable. Not a tremendous part of the overall of the Knicks, but he's a contributor for that second unit. Somebody that Thibodeau will finish the game. Tom Thibodeau will finish the game with, especially if opposing team has a guard that's doing well. He quickly will be out there for his defense. So not extremely significant, but kind of significant for that second unit. And then, of course, on the Detroit side, this is humongous. Marvin Bagley III. I've been talking about this dude all season, even before he came back. Questionable with migraines. So it's going to be interesting to see if he plays or not. Also, Jaden Ivey is listed as questionable. He didn't play in that game on Sunday against Detroit. Bogdanovich also listed as questionable. We know he rolled his ankle. And then, of course, Isaiah Stewart is still out. I think he's going to be out for another week or two. And Cade Cunningham, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. He's contemplating having season-ending shin surgery. So we might not see Cade for the rest of the year. And if so, that's a tragedy because Cade's a up and coming baller. This dude can hoop, man. I really enjoy watching Cade play. He plays hard for Coach Dwayne Casey. All of these guys play hard for Coach Dwayne Casey. This team, whether they win, lose, or draw, they typically coming out with something. They had the worst record in the NBA, but they are 6-2-2 ATS last 10. So injury news, of course, is really important because Bagley impacts the game tremendously, specifically on the defensive end. So if he's not able to go with the migraines, that does not bode well for this Pistons team kind of being able to keep it close. We saw, if you watched the game on Sunday, which I did, when they played against the New York Knicks, when they played against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Bagley was the reason why they were covering in the first quarter and the first half as 8-point dogs against the Cleveland Cavaliers. His ability to make Robin Lopez look like he didn't belong in the league was at an all-time high. Marvin Bagley can score the ball. He can shoot the ball. He rebounds the ball well. He plays extremely hard. Very, very underrated center. And he's finally, starting to get his legs under him because he did miss, first, I think 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So he just came back, when they were out on the West Coast trip. So what I got for you guys on this one, you get this Knicks team. They're 3-6 against the spread in their last 10. Coming off back-to-back home losses against Portland and against Memphis. That Portland game was an overtime game. Just barely came up short. 3-point loss against Memphis. Another, single-digit loss as well. They've gone over in their last 3 games. A lot of it has been a lack of defense, even with Mitchell Robinson returning. This is the first night of a road home back-to-back for them as well. They host the Bucks tomorrow, so could be a potential look-ahead spot. Pistons kind of own – the Knicks kind of own the Pistons as well. I'll talk about that just a tad bit more in a second. This Pistons team, they're 6-2-2 ATS in their last 10. Playing really hard for Coach Dwayne Casey, whether they win or lose the game. They're 5-3-1 ATS at the crib as well. So, worst record in the league, sure, but they're still playing hard, and that's how you can tell when the team's playing hard if they're actually covering the spread. So 5-3-1 ATS at the crib this season, coming off the home loss to Cleveland, where they got a push in that game after starting the game off hot. Like I said, they covered the first quarter, they covered the first half. Before that, they had caught a win on that 6-game West Coast trip. They covered 4 of those games out of the 6 out west. They covered against Sacramento, against Denver, Utah, and Phoenix. And they straight up wins against Denver and Utah as well. So outright wins as, big underdogs in both of those spots. They've gone under in their last 2 games. And I think a lot of that, like I said, has to do with Marvin Bagley. So what else I got for you guys on this one? So this will be the 3rd time that these teams have played each other already. The Knicks blew them out to open the season. I think by 2021. But then the second time that they played, the Knicks won by 9, and they actually got a push. Both of those games were in the Garden. Both of those games also went over. And they went over by margin, by 9.5 points in one and by 16 points in the other. And that's, it kind of bodes well with the makeup of the Knicks, right? They can't be trusted as a favorite. The Knicks they're 0-5-1 ATS in their last 6 games versus a team with the losing straight up record. So, other team losing, the Knicks are kind of one of those teetering teams, in between. They play well up to competition. They don't play as well when they're playing down to competition. The Pistons, 4-0-1 ATS in their last 5 games overall, and 4-0-2 in their last 6 games playing on 1 day's rest. This Knicks team, like I said, they've kind of dominated the matchup, which this game's extremely difficult to cap, especially when you look at all the injury news as well. But they've dominated this matchup. They're 8-1-1 against the spread in the last 10 meetings between the two teams, no matter the site, and 4-1 ATS in the last 5 games in Detroit specifically. So not only do they play well, in the Garden against Detroit, but they also they travel well to Detroit as well. So yeah, makes it, like I said, makes it extremely difficult to cap because you don't want to take the Knicks laying points at all. But against a decimated team like the Detroit Pistons, without Marvin Bagley, I would be looking towards the Knicks in this one. That's really hard for me to say because I haven't backed this team since they lost to Atlanta after having a 20-point lead, almost lost the game by 20. SDQL, one of the things I was looking at, Knicks, they are 5-2 to the over as a favorite this season, including 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. The defense just simply does not come to play, and I've been mentioning that throughout, this breakdown of this game. The defense just doesn't come to play when they're a favorite, man. They're allowing 120 points as a favorite this season and scoring 123, which is why those games are flying over the total. So when they're projected to win, they just try to go out there and outscore you, not really looking at, trying to play defense. Full squad, you get Bogdanovich back, you get Marvin Bagley back, and you get and Marvin Bagley plays, Bogdanovich plays, and Jay Navi plays. I kind of like the Pistons, man. I kind of like the Pistons plus the points. But like I said, it's too much right now with all those injuries. Let me see what you guys are saying before we move on. So no official play for me at all. What up, Ant? What up? Boston quarters was easy money last night. The easiest money you ever gonna find is Boston first quarter. Even if you just take the team total, man. I actually hopped on the team total as a personal play yesterday. I caught the Celtics at at over 118 and a half, and they had 118 at the end of the third quarter. Lakers game was crazy. Yeah, my Lakers lost on a game winner last night, man. That was tough. Warriors money line tonight. Let's get into that game. What up, Courtney? I see you here. Sean, y'all hit that like button for me, man. Retweet the show if you're watching on Twitter as well. Where's Tiffany? Her squad. Yeah, where is Tiffany, man? Get up, Tiffany. Where you at? Markel said, where y'all at? TD's good, sharp, spell checks. No Knicks asked, no Lakers bets. Yeah, I don't bet on the Lakers, bro. It's too much heartache. Especially if I bet on the Lakers last night, I probably wouldn't have been able to do a show today, man. If I would have lost money on the Lakers and had to get up and do a show this morning, nah, that ain't what we into. Let's move on though, man. See if we can get to these games, knock these games out. So Warriors and the Mavericks. This one opened as a pick, actually. And it's going to be easy for people to jump on the Warriors today. I think it's going to be extremely easy for people to jump on the Warriors looking at these two teams recently. But this is a playoff revenge spot, man, and you typically don't want to take that team that lost. I think I'm gonna just sit this one out. I can, give you a lot of reasons to support the Warriors in this spot. So let's get into it. Total in this one opened at 228. You see money come in on the Warriors overnight. It was a -1 last night for the Warriors, and it's up to a -1.5, I think, on most books right now. Warriors coming to this one off the blowout road win versus the Minnesota Timberwolves on Sunday. So 1 day of rest for them. This will be their second road game. And they've both been this will be their second road win. That was their second road win. They're just 2-9, both ATS and straight up on the road this season. But surprisingly enough, both of them kind of came within the last 3 games. You throw out the game against the Pelicans because that was the second night of a back-to-back after they beat the Rockets, and they lost that game by 45, but they didn't have any of the starters in for that game. So you look at that game against the Rockets that was last Sunday. They played well in that spot. They played extremely well against the Rockets. Defense didn't look like it was, completely there. But they were able to cover that game. And then, like I said, throw away the game versus the Pelicans on the second night of a back-to-back when they didn't have Draymond, they didn't have Steph, they didn't have Clay. You fast forward to this Sunday, and they absolutely smacked the Timberwolves up. The Timberwolves look like a shell of themselves. They got smacked up again last night against the Washington Wizards in DC. Prayers up for Cat. I don't think it's an Achilles, but Cat did go down pretty hard yesterday. Hopefully it's just something. Hopefully it's just a strain. So yeah, but back to this game. So on the opposite side, you get the Mavs. So the Warriors look like they kind of turning the corner. They're actually back to being a positive, a plus team. As far as win, they actually have an over 50% win record right now. Mavs first game back home after a 3-game road trip out east. Also a third game in 4 nights for Dallas as well. Not a spot you really looking to back them. And they're only 4-14-1 ATS this season, just 2-8-1 ATS at home. Even though they are 8-3 straight up, and the Mavs are 1-9 against the spread overall. Like I said, 8-3 ATS at home. I'm sorry, 8-3 ATS at home. 8-3 straight up at home. I'm sorry. Let me do that over again. So the Mavs, they are 4-14, 4-14-1 ATS this season, 2-8-1 ATS at home, but they're 8-3 straight up at home. They're 1-9 against the spread. 1-9 against the spread recently. So that's this. Like I said, this game, it makes it easy to jump on Golden State. I don't think I can really get there. Like I said, the playoff revenge angle from last season in the Western Conference, the Mavs just don't. They look like a shell of themselves. We see that they just signed Kemba Walker. So defense is only gonna get worse. Whenever you bringing in Kemba, good luck. It's also like I said, it's a rematch of the Western Conference Finals, a TNT game as well, which means a lot of public money gonna be on Golden State today, which makes me kind of want to sit this one out. Warriors 4-1 ATS the last 5 meetings, but only 3-7 ATS the last 10 meetings in Dallas. So they typically don't play as well in Dallas. Recency bias is going to tell you to jump on the Warriors because they look so good on Sunday against the Timberwolves. They have the much better offense, I would say. Defensively, they can struggle at times, but their defense it looked pretty good in that game. The Timberwolves also are not playing defense right now, so I think this game's going to be a tad bit closer than that game was. I don't have anything official on that game. Moving along, last game, and yeah, we got to hurry up and get out of here. And then I'll have more officials. I just got to go through these games just a tad bit more, especially this game. So Clippers and the Blazers, not a lot for me in this one. I think I should have got there on the Blazers last night. This line actually opened at 1.5. It's up to 3.5 now. I don't like playing the Clippers when they don't have PG and Kawhi. They did get a nice home win on Sunday against the Pacers, 14-point win. That's when Zubac turned into Wilt Chamberlain / Shaq, or you can call him Wilt O'Neal. Had 31 points and 29 rebounds or something like that. So this will be the Clippers' first road game after the 2 home games. They dropped the first one, won the second one against the Pacers. They start a 2-game road trip tonight, and they at Utah tomorrow. So it's first night of road back to back for them as well. Portland, first game back home after coming off a 4-game road trip out east. With only 1 day of rest in between. They've lost 4 of their last 5 and alternated between covering and not covering in those games as well in the last 5. No PG, of course, no Kawhi, no Dame. This game's difficult to cap, man, because you can't. The Blazers haven't looked as good at home. If you go look at their home splits versus their road splits, they've been a better road team. They've also been a better team as a dog than as a favorite as well. You kind of want to take the Clippers as a dog. You want to take either one of these teams. If you're gonna bet either one of these teams, you want to take them as a dog, not necessarily as a favorite. Clippers typically do come out just a little lackluster at the beginning of the games. But you don't want to take the Blazers' first game back home after coming off a 4-game road trip out west. So I'm sorry, out east. So yeah, I don't. It's a funky game, man. One of the things I looked at though, and I've been talking about this throughout the season. So since the start of last season, the Clippers, they're now just 10-17 straight up, 12-14-1 against the spread in games without PG and Kawhi together, versus a team that has a 50% win percentage or better. The Blazers do, fall into that category. They are a 50% win, 50% or better win percentage team. Specifically on the road, the Clippers, no PG, no Kawhi, versus a team that has a 50% win percentage or better, just 5-11 straight up, 7-8-1 against the spread. Also 9-7 to the over they're losing those games by an average of 5 points. So that'd be a play on, play today on the Blazers if that was something that you guys was interested in. 20 minutes in the books, man. Like I said, I have official plays. I might have one or two. Not gonna force anything. Let me see what y'all on today before we get up out of here. Zoned Up said Pacers, Lakers stink so bad. Lakers up 13, man. 13, 14 points in the fourth quarter, lose the fourth quarter by 11 points and lose the game. Won every quarter. Lakers won every quarter except the fourth. Luka 25. Yeah, he gonna draw Wiggins. Wiggins gonna have his hands full tonight, but I can see Luka going. He should get 25. Luka's not been that great, man. Luka has not been that great. Norman Powell revenge game. Had not thought about that. That's an interesting look, Mike. Norman Powell. Yeah, I mean, somebody got to score for them tonight, for sure. Too bad Lakers can't play Spurs every night. If the Lakers could play Spurs every night, that'd be good, man. But you got to get some wins against some other teams as well. Clips under because I need a cut. Okay. Okay. And total dropping. Yeah, total is dropping. Warriors came out to play. Yeah, they did come out to play, man. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can match that same intensity and energy. They talked about. I was watching that game on Sunday. This is the last thing I say before I get up out of here. In response to Fremont comments, I was watching that game on Sunday against the Timberwolves, and you heard the announcers talk about just watching the Warriors warm up and stretch, and how Steph and Draymond specifically just had a different mindset. You could just tell that they were kind of locked in. These are the things I would love to know before the game actually starts, so I could put my money on the players that look like they're extremely locked in. You could kind of tell that Golden State was like, yo, we not playing around today. We're gonna come out, we're gonna be extra crisp, we're gonna be extra sharp. And you see, Draymond just turn it on. Draymond had 19 points in the game completely, but he had 7 assists, I think, in the first quarter. So, efficient, shooting the ball. Yeah, I don't know if they come back. If that's the Warrior team that we're gonna get for the rest of the season, I bet on them every single game because they're not gonna lose too many games. They have the highest offensive rating of any team in the NBA as far as their starting five. So, yeah, top Zoned Up said, did you have a top look? You're targeting today, Chris? Honestly, I'm gonna look towards the Blazers. But I haven't, taken a deep dive yet. I talked about in the first game, the Pistons and the Knicks. I kind of got to wait on the injury news with Jaden Ivey, especially Marvin Bagley and Bogdanovich. That's too much offense and too much defense not to know about to be able to cap that Knicks and the Pistons game. And then, Warriors and the Mavs. Like I said, the Warriors going to be extremely public today, so I'll probably stay off of them. But I do think that they probably win the game. Sometimes public, cashes as well. So yeah, that's what I'm on today. Haven't really played anything. Also waiting for a lot of player prop lines to come out. So maybe I can cap some player props and we can kind of keep the player prop thing going. Fremont said Kings killed me, but Pacers cleaned it up. Yeah, Kings, bro, they just did not play any defense. I talked about that earlier. Kings absolutely just decided to take the night off on defense, man. Devin Booker looked like Kobe last night, man. RIP to Kobe. Devin Booker looked like him last night, just going out there killing them boys. But that's it, man. That's it for the show, man. Hit the like button for me. Like I said, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Back at 5:15 Eastern time as always for the NBA, the Crispy Cap and NBA show. Until then, best of luck with everything that you guys come up with today. I'll see you guys at 5:15, man.